Okay. Christina asked, how did this all start? Nui Cobalt Designs and perfuming in particular. How did that all start? So I'm going to tell you the story while I'm telling her the story. Ready? Ready. Okay. Once upon a time in 1989, I'm 14 years old and I'm at the Boston Ballet Summer Program. And I walked into this incredible perfumery. It was called Essence. It was in Copley Square. And this room was like breathtaking. There's this just heavy wooden bar that ran the length of the entire room, and behind it are gorgeous glass shelves lined with bottles, apothecary bottles with labels and various colors of fluid, and just breathtaking room. And then this beautiful blonde woman, probably in her 40s, approaches us with, it's me and a friend, a glass wand, like this little, just a simple glass wand, and she says, "Have you been anointed?" And so she dips the wand into some perfume oil and she dots it on my wrist and she dots it on the other person's wrist, and like, it's incredible. There's no alcohol in it. It's just pure scent. And like, that's it. I am absolutely hooked. Like, this is just amazing. So we sit down at this bar because they've got pretty little stools, and they just customize a scent for you, like drop by drop, putting it on different parts of your skin to see how different things work together in different amounts. And then after about 20 minutes, half an hour, they write down your formula, they blend a bottle for you, and you walk out with this bespoke, personalized perfume oil that was the result of this really wonderful collaboration. And it's like, what? This is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God.
That is really
So,
neat. I've never heard of anything like it.
that was so freaking cool, man. Apparently the company still exists. I think they're in the Pacific Northwest now. They're no longer in Boston. But yeah, that was so awesome. So fast forward to college. I'm in Saratoga Springs, New York, and there's a much tinier, much more mom and pop version of that. And that was called Perfect Sense. And the woman who owned the place, Lene, and I became friends, and I would help out at the shop a little bit. And that's when I started actually like blending things myself. So, oh God, that was so much fun. Making things. I remember the things that I made first. One was called Christmas Pomander, because I used to love how my mom would get oranges and dot them with cloves at Christmas time. And so just like 2 ingredients, maybe I put a little bit of cinnamon in there, but...
Have you ever recreated it?
Have I? I did recreate something sort of similar. I don't think as a scent oil, but I swear I've done something that had to do... Oh, I think it was like a Christmas ornament, like a magical Christmas ornament. That might have been it, with like my memories going. But yeah, Christmas Pomander. And then there was another one that didn't have a name, but it was rosemary, sandalwood, and almond. And that was the first time I noticed that things like sandalwood and almond that are really strong can kind of have this magical effect on one another, where the almond isn't almondy anymore and the rosemary isn't rosemary anymore. They just become something else that's really powerful and ultra bright and almost overwhelming. But that kind of shocking electrical thing that they create together was like, whoa, I love this, So that was awesome. Fast forward to when I was saving money to go to grad school. There was a friend of mine who just did mail order perfume. And his name was Mark, and he and his brother, they bought perfume from places. This was more conventional style perfumes. They would be like mass market kinds of perfumes. And so that was the first time I actually encountered like the mail order version of it, where you get an order and you're filling the envelopes and you're sealing them up and you're making sure all of the bottles are secure, and it was the back end experience of it. And it was a home business, so he was working entirely out of his basement. It was like, oh, okay, you can make a living like this. That was pretty cool. I didn't actually get into any of the creation or even experience of the perfume because it all came sealed. Um, and then after grad school, I ended up in Los Angeles, and I ended up working for a very prominent independent perfume company, and I was with them for a while and saw kind of, how does this work? What goes on? What goes right? What goes wrong? Customer service, and the whole, the whole experience of it. Not the design part, but kind of the filling bottles, nuts and bolts, packing orders, talking to customers, that kind of thing. And oddly enough, all four of these experiences didn't add up in my brain to like, you should probably like put all these experiences together to do something that you're really psyched about. No, that came about 3 years ago, when the business that I had already started back in 2012, which was a magical business where I was handcrafting magical and ritual jewelry. It was doing really good. It was making us a nice portion of our living, and my husband and my child and I were, we were good. But it was starting to become unsustainable, especially because A, I couldn't make enough jewelry fast enough because I was the only one making it. And B, I felt like with a lot of things that were going on with people's finances and just their lives, a $200 or $300 piece of jewelry was just not very accessible to a lot of people. And it also wasn't, I don't know, I think I just hit the wall with it. And I noticed that financially we were hitting the wall with it too. It was like, oh, we're not selling as much as we used to. So I sat down with my friends, Seamus and Anthony, and I cried. And I told them, I don't know, I feel like I'm going to have to stop doing my business. I really love it, but it's just, I just can't make enough to keep up. And Seamus said something to the effect of, well, what about Perfume? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I think there's some people who would be really mad at me if I did that. And he was like, so? And yeah, at the time I was talking to him, I was about 42, and I sat there for a minute and I was like, yeah, like after 40, am I really going to not do something because somebody might get mad at me? Like, should I ever have done that? So I decided to just kind of give it a shot, and we moved from magical and ritual jewelry to magical and ritual perfume oils. And it, night and day, like all of a sudden it was so much easier to keep up and make a living and have a great time and just be so in love with the creative process and so into all the just all of it. The magic came easier, the rituals were more robust and more, I could feel that the energy that I was putting into stuff was very, very palpable. It was just better. It was so much better. So that's how I started doing what I'm doing. Any questions?
No, that's pretty awesome.
Thanks, guys, for listening to the story of how I came to do what I'm doing. And I hope I get to see you on September 25th when we release Autumn Part 2, also known as Halloween. Have a great one. Thank you.